Action News Live at 3:30 begins with the $1.9 billion NFL stadium deal, which is now on its way to Governor Sandoval. So when will he call the special session, and will state lawmakers sign off?
13 Action News reporter Brian Callahan asked members of the stadium committee that question just minutes after they unanimously approved the deal that calls for $750 million in public funding. So Brian, what did they have to say?
Well, Carla, all of the members I talked to said essentially the same thing, and that is they can't read Governor Sandoval's mind when it comes to a special session, but they say they think this is a good deal.
They'll still want to vet all the issues to make sure that it makes sense for the community and for the state. I'm hopeful that at the end of that process, they'll see the wisdom in this recommendation. Work down through this.
In the discussions today was tied to the revenue sharing. Developers have said all along that they did not want revenue sharing in the deal. In the end, the committee voted to forego the revenue sharing, instead saying an estimated $35 million a year in public dollars will be generated by the stadium should be sufficient.
The public is going to be getting $35 billion worth of revenue that we would previously not have received as a result of this. That's 5%. You can't get 5% return. I mean, that's enormous.
Of course, we've been saying this deal is far from done. There's still two very critical votes that could be ahead. We're going to dig deeper into that coming up on Action News at 5. Reporting live, Brian Callahan, 13 Action News.
All right, thank you, Brian. PolitiFact reporter Riley Snyder is joining us now with some more information on where we go from here. So, Riley, as one of those gentlemen just said, can't read the governor's mind. So, what is stopping him from just calling a special session right now?
There's a lot of things in play here. The Sands, Sheldon Adelson, really want the special session called as soon as possible. They're saying that they need it called in order to get the time to put together a proposal to move the Raiders to Las Vegas. However, there's this big election coming up in November, and in Nevada, state lawmakers are prohibited from fundraising 15 days after a special session finishes. So there's this big fundraising question. A lot of these guys have concerns over that, and so that's something the governor has to weigh, is whether or not he calls it sometime in the last week in September and October or after the election.
So why, if the fundraising blackout is a concern, and I didn't even know about that. That's a 2-week window where after a special session they can't go out and raise money. Why not just move everything until after the election date?
Part of me thinks that's what the governor wants to do, and another part of it is that Sheldon Adelson and the Sands, they're counting votes. They're trying to figure out if they have the support. You need 2/3 of the legislature to approve any tax increase. Come November 8th, you're going to have a whole different set of bodies in the legislature. They're not going to know right away if they have the support necessary to get this through.
So there's a learning curve as well.
It's a learning curve. As you know, Republicans took a lot of seats they weren't supposed to. They took a majority in 2014 in both the state assembly and the state senate. That could change, and it's an open question whether or not the math changes if Democrats do take control or if they retain control. There's going to be a lot of new faces in the legislature. They prefer to get it done with the people they have right now.
What about the nuanced kind of stuff before we run out of time, and the influence that Sheldon Adelson could have on the state legislature because he is a key player in the stadium deal?
Sure. So the last campaign finance reports that came out showed Mr. Adelson and his companies, the Sands, the Phoenician, they gave about $200,000 to state legislators in about a 2-week period. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see what they gave. The next disclosure date is, I think, October 18th. And so that might be another reason they want to get it done before October, so we don't have to see how much money is being given to these state lawmakers, whether it's by Adelson, the Sands, or the Venetian.
There's some interesting inside baseball.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Riley.
Well, all the fireworks weren't just inside that meeting. Out in the parking lot, it looked like a real party, and 13 Action News reporter Parker Collins was there as things got wild.
It took us a while out here just to find a parking spot. That is how packed it is. And if you do a 180, you can see that basically outside, it is a party. There are so many people wanting to know how this decision is going to go. They are excited. Some of these people have their kids with them, and a few others have come off a full day's work just to be here. Is that a difficult line to walk if you're not a Raiders fan, but you're kind of rooting for them to come here?
Yeah, it is, but you know, I'll be with my Cowboys jersey somewhere in the back, but I'm really excited though.
It's funny because out in the parking lot, there's a lot of Raiders stuff, and not everybody out here is a Raiders fan, but they are just so excited for what's happening today at UNLV. Parker Collins, 13 Action News.
And we have an entire section on our website dedicated to keeping you up to date on the stadium happenings with exclusive content from John Ralston and PolitiFact reporter Riley Snyder. Just go to KTNV.com.